The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel as written to us by Matthew. Jesus said to his disciples, "As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the human one. In those days before the flood, people were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day that Noah entered the ark. They did not know until the flood came and carried them all away. So will it be also at the coming of the human one. 2 men will be out in the field, one will be taken and one will be left. 2 women will be grinding at the mill, one will be taken and one will be left. So stay awake. You do not know on which day your Lord will come. But be sure of this: if the master of the house had known the hour of night when the thief was coming, he would have stayed awake and not let his house be broken into. So too, you also must be prepared, for an hour you do not expect, the human one will arrive." This is the gospel of the Lord. After 50 years of trying to preach on the Sunday gospel, one thing I've learned is that the first seemingly common sense understanding is hardly ever the best. And that would certainly be true of this Sunday. And one reason for that is we don't understand what they would call apocalyptic literature, which always sounds like threatening literature. That's really not the meaning. Apocalypsis means an unveiling of what is not obvious. And so it's the second reading, the reading a second time, that we must pay attention to. So I had time to do that. I hope you did too. Catholics don't very much, but let's see if we can make this a helpful text. And the first thing we got to get rid of is that very idea that God is a threatener. Now, if you were raised, as most of us were, with a God who is like an absentee father, and mother said, when dad comes home, he'll take care of you, that's probably the way most people read it. He's going to whip you. But I don't think that's the meaning at all. That can't be God. And the giveaway is that, first of all, God is presented as a thief in the night. Yes, we don't like thieves, but it presents God as someone who breaks into our lives, unexpected. All the great conversions I've ever been a witness to in my years of retreat work, God hardly ever breaks into someone's life when they plan on it, when they're perfect and prayerful. It's always God comes when they're on the run, when they're heading somewhere else, and they catch them, God catches them out of the corner of their eye. God always comes unexpected. And that's what it means by in the middle of the night. So the lesson of be prepared is simply don't think it's going to come when you're in church like you are right now. I've met very few people, I mean it, and I've been a priest for 50 years now, who've had their conversion in church. I sometimes wonder why we keep doing this. It doesn't seem to yield an awful lot of fruit. Most people have their deeper conversions in solitude and in nature, in silence and in suffering, seldom in church. So you see why the gospel tells us, be prepared, get ready. He's going to break into your life, and of course he is not a he. God is beyond gender. She is just as good. She is going to break into your life when you do not expect. So don't expect anything in particular. Try to expect, if this makes sense, and I hope it does, try to expect everything in general. Nothing in particular, everything in general. God, I'm ready for you anytime. Now, how do we get ready? The only way you can really get ready for God is to get yourself out of the way. It's much more a matter of unlearning certitudes and guilts and shames and memorized lessons and letting God come as a surprise, as unexpected, as undeserved grace, and will always be that. God will always feel undeserved. If you think you earned it, you worked for it and got it, it ain't God. It's your own effort and your own will, and it won't last long. God always comes gratuitously, like a thief in the night, unexpected, and all we can do. And we're warned this now at the beginning of the church year, is to stay awake.